Welcome back to another episode of... I'm about to say Kingdom Hearts, but this is not the right game. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. In the previous episode, we completed the investigations part. Today, we're going to get into the trial. For today's episode, make sure to like my subscribe to the channel. When I woke the following morning, Susato was already gone. Excuse me. Outside the window, the rain came down in sheets. And so began an even longer day than the last. One that I would remember for the rest of my days. You can see the cloud. The cloudy day outside. Good morning, Gina. I'm determined to prove your innocence today. I'm sure we can do it. So where's your friend, then? Sorry? You know, her in the fancy dress. Susato, or however you say it. I don't know. Ah, Mrs. Soda had to leave early this morning. She was already gone by the time I woke up. You alright with that, are ya? Forget about me if you like. Go and see her off. It's fine. It's not as though Mrs. Soda and I won't meet again. One day. Even so, but you, Gina, you only get one chance. This trial today is all we have. Good morning, you two. Aww, how are you feeling, Genie? Did you manage to fall asleep? Wagwai, I don't know, Wagahai. Iris, what are you doing here? What do you mean? When a friend is in need, we show our support. Isn't that right, Waggy? Wagahai. Waggy? Great way to show your support, kitty. Let him have a nose around. Won't harm, can do. Oh, that reminds me. I bought a paper on the way here. Now, would you like the good news or the bad news? We're bad. What do you say, Runo? Genie? Oh, well, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. Nah, always take the good news first. You might not live to hear the bad. Yes, that question always gives away people's personalities. Let's not go there. Alright then, I'll give you a bad news. A record amount of rain has fallen this morning, and carriages all over the capital are struggling to move. Huh? That's bad news? Was a weather report? So I hope that Susie made her train to Dover, and the train isn't delayed on its way to the port. Gosh, yes. Alright then, so what's the good news? Well, the rain is forecast to subside this afternoon. So even if the train is delayed, it should be able to make up the time later. Well, this is good news, isn't it? I couldn't give a monkey's really. A monkey's uncle. Only the good news canceled out the bad. And look! This trial has made the headlines too. Pawnbroker perishes in pick-purse plunder, see? How do you like that? We let them say what they want. See if I care. I can't because you're covering your face. Don't worry, Runo. We'll show everyone that this headline is nonsense. I will? And then in tomorrow's papers, the headlines will be... Discharged diver is dauntless do-gooder. Isn't that right, Runo? Oh, yes. Let's hope so. Of course they will. I have absolute faith in you. How was that? I was trying to sound like Susie. Did it work? Did it? It's like she was still here. We'll find out more later on today. Good luck then, Runo. I'll do what I can. Obviously, I don't know the law like Susie does, but still. No, not in court. I'll be by your side the whole time, giving you moral support and encouragement. I'm not sure that big thing is as comforting as you think it is, to be honest. But, thank you, Iris. That's very kind of you. Oh yeah, Iris. Yes, Genie? Hold up. Well, I was wondering, is all about Sholmes. Did they fix him up alright? Yes, the operation was a great success, but Hurley still hasn't come around yet. Huh? I've asked a friend of mine at Scotland Yard to send a telegram as soon as he wakes up. I'm sure Gregson will let us know the moment there's news. Oh, right. No Susato-san and no Mr. Sholmes. It's all down to me today, to prove that Gina is innocent of this crime. Miss Gina Lestrade, counsel for the defense, the trial is about to begin. Please make your way into the courtroom. Okay, let's see who we're fighting. If not, it could be the vampire, because we haven't seen a vampire in a good minute. And because usually these type of games, they always have like some different prosecutor towards the final one, right? Right? Maybe. She's trying to put up a brave face, but I can't tell if she's worried and scared. I have to believe in her from the start to finish. That's the weapon that will secure our victory here. If I learned anything from my great friend, it's that. Say something, Chief. Don't leave me hanging. What did Kazuma say? Hello? 10 a.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. The vampire! In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare the court in this session. This trial determined the guilt of innocence of Gina Lestrade. Where did I get Lisa? I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. Defense is ready. Lord Von Zykes, my lord. Remind me, how many years ago was it that you withdrew from the public prosecution service? It was some 5 years ago, my lord. Yes, and then 2 months ago you resurfaced somewhat unexpectedly, and here you are again today. Are there some circumstances of which the court should be aware that have led to this erratic behavior? In what one might describe as your former life 5 years past, you dealt exclusively in matters concerned with the highest echelons of society and government. Really? Yet today you choose to try a simple case of burglary and murder. I confess I find it more than little befuddling, counsel. There are 2 types of person I cannot abide. Firstly, those wealthy scoundrels who hide behind a mask of philanthropy to cheat the public at large. He means Mr. Megiddo, who you defended against the Reaper 2 months ago. Yes, I'm just about to manage to work that out, thank you. I don't know why I messed up. Magnus McGilded, if I know what a monster he was, I never would have defended him. And secondly, even more loathsome, those wily scoundrels who masquerade as allies only to effect total betrayal in the final hour. In other words, the confidence tricksters from those tiny islands in the Far East. Amintbonese. What did we do? What? Did he really just say that? He means you now, Runo. I actually managed to work that out too. Thank you, Iris. Total betrayal? What are you talking about? That torrid look of hatred in Lord Von Zykes' eyes. Was that directed solely at me, or was he talking about all Japanese people? An alarming, scathing explanation, Lord Von Zykes. Still, the judiciary welcomes the return of the so-called Reaper of the Bailey, feared by all London's malefactors. Your lordship is too kind. Now, jurors, the 6 of you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Hey, we get the same people. What is he doing here? And I'm not talking about the husband, not the maid, whoever the heck that guy is. Why is the woman the doctor, not the lady that's supposed to be doing her job with the freaking thing, but the freaking, oh my god, what's that guy doing here? Isn't he a dangerous man, a revolutionary? I'm a lieutenant in the British Army here, don't you know? Chaps like me were born already. Clean crockery, clean cutlery, and a clean conscience. His lordship's motto is very appropriate here, I think. Who the heck are you? Everything will be stereoscopic in the... Hey, is the guy that created that thing? Nice. He might become useful. Absolutely everything, and I'm ready for it. I don't understand it. I can't have left it in there. It's not possible, but could I have? Telegram. Women indispensable in society. Stop. Female-centric future awaits. Stop. What? What is he doing here? That's a plot twist right there. Good day. I'm whistling London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please. Oh no! How did he get here?
Is something wrong, Bruno?
Oh, not exactly. It's just the one on the far right. I'm fairly sure I recognize these jurors. Almost all of them, in fact. But the last one on the right is a terrorist, no?
Really? Funny coincidence like that do happen from time to time, do they? It is quite strange. The jurors are chosen at random from London's 6 million inhabitants, you know?
So I've been led to believe, but something tells me I'm being duped. Very well, now, Lord Van Zykes, the court calls upon the prosecution to introduce the facts of the case. As you wish, my lord. Allow me to bring in a word of warning to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. In short, there has never been a more self-evident case of cold-blooded murder. The victim, Mr. Pop Windybank, proprietor of a pawn shop on Baker Street, was shot from behind and died instantly. The prosecution presents the photographic print of the crime scene. As the court will observe, there's a single bullet wound just below the gentleman's left shoulder. The evidence suggests that the bullet pierced the man's heart, resulting in near-instant death. Moving on to finding of Scotland Yard's coroner, his report states the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. And what's that supposed to tell us? It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Someone like the accused, you might say.
Oh.
The prosecution wishes to present the autopsy report and crime scene photograph as evidence, my lord. Indeed, the court accepts. Hand them to the bailiff, please. I now ask the court to turn its attention to this plan of the establishment where the incident occurred. The proprietor was found in the storeroom where he kept articles pawned to him. A windowless room with a single port of entry. A door to the main shop that was found locked. In this sealed chamber, there was only 2 persons present. The victim, Mr. Windybank, and the accused. It may further interest the court to know that when the accused was discovered at the scene, she had her in her hand the gun used to fire the fatal bullet. Well, that's that then, isn't it? Nothing more to say. Isn't that grubby little girl a pickpocket anyway? She's one of those filthy drabs that live in the slums in the East End. Oh well, it was only a matter of time before she got blood on her hands then. What are the jurors waiting for? The girl's guilty as hell. We can't jump to conclusions here. We mustn't assume her guilt because of what she did has to do to survive. Here we go again. My learned Nipponese friend, it is you who mustn't jump to conclusions. The prosecution has barely begun presenting its case. Conveniently, this appalling act of murder did not go unobserved. There were witnesses. Good gracious! After their testimony, this girl's true nature will be exposed. Pitiful pickpurse or cold-hearted killer. Here's to establishing the truth. Why, Gina? Why do you have to look like that? The court will take the floor plan and firearm into evidence. Hand them to the bailiff, please, Lord Van Zykes. At once, my lord. This isn't good.
I feel like the moon here has turned very gloomy all of a sudden, Runo.
I think that's because it has. Oh, he threw away his cape. He's serious now. Let us begin. Bring forth the witnesses to the foul murder of Mr. Pop Windybank on 16th April of this year. Do they say it backwards? The day and then the month? It's the guys! Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court.
The name's not Skulkin. Occupation as baddie, professional baddie. Name's Ringo Skulkin. Occupation same as him.
Tobias Gregson, Scotland Yard Inspector. That's right. We won't. The call? We are what they call the Scree Skulkin Brothers? 3. What are you looking at me for? Don't let me in with you lot. Call blimey, that's cold. Don't you know what we're going through?
It's our older bruv. Lost contact with him when we have, so we're scouring every shady corner of the capital.
And then last night we come across you, the very spittle bloke. Ain't that right, Ringo? Ish, Nash, is
the spirit of him.
So we decided there ain't there what we was gonna do. We was gonna call ya. What? Even I couldn't understand that. But bruv, sulky. Come on, leave it out, you two. Sulky Skulkin, and that's before he runs out of chips? Well then, Inspector Sulky Gregson. Beg your pardon, my lord, but the name's Tobias. What I would like to know, Inspector, is what you're doing in the witness stand. The Skulkin brothers are currently under arrest, my lord, on suspicion of theft. Thieves as they are, these 3? No, my lord, begging your pardon, but please don't lump me with these lot. 2 nights ago, these 2 brothers illegally entered an establishment with intent to burgle. And in the course of their nefarious activities, they became embroiled in far more sinister crimes. By Jove, you mean to say, what an extraordinary coincidence! Indeed, my lord, while attempting to burglarize the pawnbrokery, they witnessed its proprietor's murder. He had to get a wooden box. Order, order! The various trespasses of these brothers are not subject of today's proceedings, though they will naturally face trial in the very near future. With your lordship's permission, I'd like to remain in the stand to keep these gents on the straight and narrow. Of course, Inspector. Skeptical as I am about the caliber of these witnesses, I will permit them to take the stand. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Mr. and Mr. You will now testify before the court. Describe the events of the night in question and what exactly you saw. Happy to. Cause Skulkin never Skulkin. I don't get it. Get out of it. Apple and pear. We was walking down Baker Street in the small house and the Gap store was ajar, see?
It was like some kind of sign begging for us to go in it was.
But once we got inside, called blimey, we heard a gunshot from the back room.
We went to see what it was, but the door was locked from the inside.
We never done nothing, Governor. We never took nothing. We just left after that, nice and quiet. But you got shot, mister. A terrible coincidence, it would seem. At the precise moment these miscreants entered the property, an even more sinister crime was afoot. The witness's testimony is consistent with the crime scene in every detail. The doors providing access to the storeroom for the main shop was indeed locked from the inside, and within only the victim and the accused were found. I must say it does appear to be an overwhelmingly simple case. Still, the defense may cross-examine the witness now, of course. Counsel, if you please. Counsel? Yes?
What's the matter, Bruno?
Sorry, I was just stunned into silence for a minute by the blatant lies being told by the pair in the stand. I know that's all nonsense because I saw it with my own eyes. I'll just have to expose their testimony for the packs of lies it is. Okay, first things first, what we're going to do is look at the evidence that we got. And later on, we have to press them for words. Stop. Okay, what do we get? What do we get? Ooh, let's see. Okay, someone victim found disease into the law on this, blah blah. Charles Henry, blah blah. That's all we got? Dang. Everything. What is this?
There's a sensational story lower down the front page as we look. Ministry Mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice. For a 10-year-old, Ira certainly has her finger on the pulse of the world news. It's about secret communication between Great Britain and its allies. Apparently, they've been being intercepted by hostile nations. Communications are being intercepted? But how is somebody doing that? That's the question, isn't it? I've come up with 3 different possibility methods so far. Are you looking for a new career, Reno? No, of course not. I wonder, perhaps this is what Lord Strongheart was talking about yesterday. Yes, it could be, and it could explain why he has Gregsley running from pillar to post at the moment.
Interesting. I was just looking around. Interesting. Back. Didn't the 3DS option during the Spirit of Justice had like a reset option? Just a reset from all the moving. Let's see. That we know. Single blow, blah blah. That's we find it's there from posterity, blah blah. That we know. We don't even know. Let's check out the caliber. A single pistol. This is Mr. Windbreak's gun. The cylinder's clearly empty. Mr. Windbreak always used to keep this gun to hand on his shop counter. Yes, but only every single bullet loaded. I understand. That's right. To keep all the pawn articles that were in his care safe. But his one bullet was fired that night, and the poor man lost his life. Was he protecting his shop, I wonder? Trying to keep the articles safe? I just want to look. What's the contents of it? That's all. Okay, back to the main thing for content. We was walking down Baker Street in the small hours of the Gav. Hold it! The front door of Windybeck's was ajar, you say? What time of night was that? Must have been about 1, right, Ringo?
Yeah, I'd say so, right, Sulky?
How would I know? The place would have been shut at 1 in the morning, just like every other shop in town. Well, it was pitch black inside, it's true. Ain't that right, Ringo?
I'm not so sure, Nash. I seem to remember a little light burning inside. What about you, Sulky? Me old mucker?
Leave me alone. There definitely was a small lamp burning inside. That's what alerted us to the situation in the first place. And when these gentlemen ventured into the open establishment, the accused Miss Gina Lestrade already had the muzzle of her gun trained on the unfortunate victim. Objection! That is pure conjecture. And what ground? Ha, perhaps, but it changes nothing. These brothers inadvertently wandered into the middle of a cold-blooded murder, simply because they found the door of the victim's establishment open and ventured inside. Right, that's what happened. It was like some kind of sign begging for us to go in. Hold it! What are you trying to suggest? That you had to go in? Well, God moves in mysterious ways, they say, don't they, Ringo?
They do, Nash, they do. Must have been some sort of providence, right, Rickon?
God's will often presents itself as the whim of thieves, does it? It weren't no whim, I'm dead sure on that.
It weren't, Nash, it weren't, like we said at the time.
Yeah, don't just find open doors in the middle of the night like that. No, there's no way, 2 ways about that.
It was a sign that our long-lost brother was inside. They've not very good liars, are they? Well, you can't deny it. It led us to a bloke woke just like our brother.
I said cut it out. Those chips are gang chopping today. But once we got inside, core blimey, we're gonna get shot from the back room. A gunshot, you say? Just the one? Are you sure about that? Yep, just the one, governor. I can swear to that.
It was Nash, it was. Ain't that right, bruv?
The firearm used to belong to the victim itself.
Yes, Mr. Windbreak always used to leave his gun lying around the counter.
Right, I remember. When we examined it, we found the revolver was completely out of rounds.
That makes sense. Mr. Windbreak always used to say he only ever kept a single bullet. Did we not just read this line? That's true, I remember him saying that as well.
So, can we say that with considerable certainty, the only single round was discharged from the firearm used as the murder weapon? Yes, my lord, we can. And I should remind the court that the firearm in question was discovered in the hand of the accused.
Wonderful. We went to see what was, but the door was locked from the inside.
Do you mean the door between the main shop and the storeroom? If my learned friend is having difficulty grasping the situation, perhaps a drawing would help. Excluding the shop's entrance from the street, there is only one other door, that of the storeroom. Of course, there was only a little oil lamp burning, not much to see by.
And the door was hidden behind the curtain and all.
That's right. When we arrived, the door was mostly obscured by the curtain. Tell me, why exactly did you try to open the door? Any normal petty thief would run at the sound of a gunshot, I should think. Oh, well, you're trying to rabbit, Ringo?
Well, Nash, yeah. I suppose you have to say we ain't normal, eh?
Broadly speaking, humans respond in one or two ways on hearing a gunshot or scream. The timid flee, gripped by fear, while the courageous investigate to see if they might help. These gentlemen are of the latter inclination. My learned Nipponese friend, it would seem, is of the former.
Alright, somehow I just proved that I was a coward that night.
Thank you, counsels. So, I believe we all understand that the door was locked and could not be opened. Rest say witnesses?
We're the last one, right?
Hold
it! You didn't do or take anything? Is that your story? Well, it was bedlam soon as, weren't it?
It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me duckings out for Lucy Lockets.
So with no time to take your hands out of your pockets, you just left, nice and quietly, you say. That's right, governor. Nothing we ate more than violence, peace-loving nibblers we are, not bludgers.
We are, Nash, we are. Never even pull me dukes out me Lucy Lockets.
So you clearly like us to believe. Come again? As you fled from the pawnbrokers that night, did you not run into anyone else? And did you not fire a gun at the person? Sounds a lie, they fired a gun, you say? Blimey, governor?
You ain't telling us it was you in the doorway?
It was.
Why that bleeding Nora? Didn't you mention that before?
You were armed with a gun, and as you fled the scene you fired that gun at London's greatest detective, Sherlock Holmes. On the night in question, this pair were arrested by the police within minutes of discovery of the crime scene. Their suspicious countenance rapidly gave them away. And when searched, a firearm was indeed found in their possession. Furthermore, the barrel shows signs of a shot having been fired from it. But this is not their court case. The prosecution invites his lordship to examine the firearm recovered from these brothers. Yes, indeed. Remnants of powder around the muzzle, as you say, counsel. Why is why is the revolutionary here? Now, my learned Nipponese friend. Yes? Here's to your successfully presenting the evidence. For yes, there are the telltale signs of a spent powder on this gun, and a single bullet missing from the cylinder. But the prosecution demands evidence that it was fired at the scene of the crime under scrutiny in this trial. Well, I don't need evidence, because I was there.
Objection!
However, the rest of us in the courtroom were not. If the defense fails to provide evidence in support of its rash claim, we shall have no choice but to toast your incompetence and move on. Evidence that these two fired that gun before they left Windy Banks that night. The court demands that all claims are affirmed with clear proof. What evidence shows that these witnesses unloaded fire on the pawnbroker shop that night? Yeah, let's see. Blood samples, I think. I think that's what we need. Because we can't use... Yeah, it has to be the blood sample. That's it. We have... this.
Take that!
The evidence is in the portfolio. What on earth have you had there, Counsel? During the course of our investigation, we discovered a number of bloodstains. Not trusting the police to do the job they trained to do? How arrogantly Nipponese of you. Well, anyway, we analyzed all the blood samples we found and recorded the results in this portfolio. And you claim to have evidence the court is demanding therein? Yes, my lord. No more dallying, then, Counsel. Present the pertinent evidence at once. What do you have in your portfolio that proves these witnesses unloaded a firearm at the scene? This.
Take that!
What is that? Explain. It's a photographic print taken at Winnie Bank's pawnbrokery on the day of the incident. From the scene of the crime, is it? Is that a bullet hole? And if my eyes don't deceive me, that bullet is still lodged there. Yes, your lordship. Yes, as your lordship noticed. The bullet pierced by the Winnie Bake's calendar. The date showed being the 16th of April, the very day of the pawnbroker's death. The incident occurred at 1 hour after midnight. But this incident indicates a separate shot has been fired sometime after the calendar has been set to the 16th. That's right. And while it isn't irrefutable, the defense believes this is credible evidence that the witnesses did fire a round from the gun in the pawnbrokers that night. Order! How does the prosecution stand, Lord Von Sykes? If that is the direction my learned Neep friend wishes to take, the prosecution has no objections. What? But you'll forgive me for flinging my hollow child's aside and discussing and the repugnance and exposed on my sneeze again. Yes, on the night in question, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery illegally. And like the bold baddies they claim to be, opened fire on the new arrivals before fleeing onto the street. Take it easy there, Governor. You're gonna land us to a soup.
We had a deal. We weren't gonna get into them details. Tell him, Sulky. Set the bloke straight.
I have nothing to add.
So he knew, did he? Von Sykes knew their testimony would almost certainly expose the extent of their crimes.
It would seem now that I owe my learned Neponese friend a word of gratitude.
What do you mean?
What I mean is that you have helpfully confirmed an important fact. To what fact do you refer, Lord Von Sykes? As has been established at the point of the arrest, a single shot had been fired from the brother's gun. However, if that shot found its target in Mr. Sholmes, then clearly these witnesses cannot be accused of the fatal shooting of the proprietor and the victim. In other words, these two men have no material connection to the murder of Mr. Winnie Bake at all.
So that's it.
Where's the slapping? There it is. That's it. We didn't have nothing to do with it.
We didn't, Nash. We didn't. That's what I reckon.
Your crimes include unlawful entry, intent to steal, perjury, and let's not forget, attempted murder. Quite a catalog, eh, fellows?
We're in it for now, bruv.
Now then, let us take a moment to consider the aforementioned great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It would seem the man patronized the pawnbrokers in question somewhat regularly. Where's he going with this? Mr. Shom appears to take pleasure in tinkering with eccentric machinery.
Eccentric? Says who?
Not me. Don't give me that look. He installed a pair of machines like this one in the victim's shop.
Oh! It's one of Hurley's red-handed recorders.
What is that, Counsel? Is that appearance of a photograph contraption? As your lordship has surmised, it is indeed a camera attached to a small timing device. Every half an hour, it automatically photographs the interior of the establishment. The idea being that if a thief were to break into the shop, he would be caught red-handed. The prosecution has obtained the photographs taken by the device on the night in question. 8 p.m. 8:30. 9 p.m. Fast forwarded, Chief. As the court will observe, copious identical prints are produced in quite desultory fashion. Rather prodigal, I feel. In fact, there are 2 such devices in the victim's shop, my lord. If I may refer the court to the plan of the premises, their respective positions are here and here. You say these cameras produce a print every half hour? I'm afraid I fail to see how that would help if the anticipated thief had conducted his activities in one of many 30-minute intervals. One can only pray that would-be criminal lingers, my lord. On the night in question, the witnesses currently in the stand were not caught in camera. Hey, that's a bit of Friar Tuck, eh, bruv?
Lady Luck loves a Skulkin.
Witnesses, what time did your trespassing begin? Must have been just after 1, right, bruv?
Must have been, Nash. Must have been. Yeah, just got 1.
In which case, minutes before these brothers entered the establishment. What scene might we expect to see within the shop? Let us examine the evidence. Yo! Good lord! It's the defendant! Miss Gina Lestrade! As the court can clearly see, the accused is pictured gun in hand facing the victim over the shop counter, no doubt coercing the proprietor to open the door to his storeroom. Quite. One can only too easily imagine the events that unfolded. The court will take this photographic as evidence, if you please, counsel.
I don't believe it. Jeannie.
In short, the accused is the only person who could possibly have killed Mr. Windybank. I say, my lord. You? Wonder if I might put a word at this point. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Took a volley bullet to the knee in the Battle of Maiwan, 1880, don't you know? Decorated for it, all that, but forced to retire from service, sadly. Oh, here we go. Of course, a medal can never outshine the explosive chaps like us on the battlefield. Yes, Mr. Foreman, and what exactly is your point? I know where this is going. Carried on the battle after retirement, you see, the battle of daily life, if you like. And here I am now leading this small squadron, 6 men, all good and true, Yakalo women. And we all go down together. You mark my words, one for all and all for one. The point. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached agreement, have they? Is that what we understand? Well, Mr. Foreman, is that correct? In a matter of speaking, yes. That is the Garrett Squadron's position, sir. What? No, it's too soon to make judgment higher. Is that a report for the court, man? On the double?
His lordship insists on promptitude at all times, and that goes for making decisions too. And I think you'll find the truth as clear as day now. I could reach out and touch it.
I wouldn't have left it in there, I just wouldn't. But in all honesty, I can't actually remember. Situation clear, stop, no room for doubt, stop, truth now, undeniable, stop. Please tell me you're singing the guys that the freaking guy is there. I am very sorry, but brothers, they are unlucky. Very well. I now call upon each member of the jury to state his or her learning of the matter, and now to consider verdicts to the court.
Guilty.
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 Why is the Russian guy here? He is Russian, right? It does indeed appear that the jury is unanimous in its leaning already. That photograph, it must be the definite evidence that Gregson mentioned.
But Genie didn't shoot him.
No, of course not. My lord, the defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination. Very well, the court grants permission. So, you refuse to admit defeat again. How unsurprising. We shall proceed immediately with the summation examination, and with that, we'll end the episode right here. Like, comment, subscribe, Skulkin TV, and I'm signing out.